Hey guys, this is Sextus, and I fixed my audio and changed to Hypercam, so now there's no large annoying green thing in the middle of the screen. So yeah, now you can hear the background music, and I just saved up, so let's continue. It's a Sextus Let's Play of 999. And we are escaping this bitch room, because, fuck it, and fuck drowning. You found it. Accompanied by a wall of angry water, Junpei shot out of the room and into the opposing wall. Gasping to catch his breath, he looked around. He was in a narrow hallway. The water that had followed him out of the room was rapidly pouring out of the door. It flowed quickly down the hallway and slammed to the foot of a short flight of stairs. Just 5 steps, in fact, and at the top of this short staircase. A door! Another door! Junpei leapt up the stairs, straight for the door. The door burst open, and Junpei exploded out of it, only to freeze in his tracks. What other possible response could there have been to what he saw? What the hell? His voice trailed off, and all he could do was stare. Stairs! My arch nemesis! A polished floor stretched out before him, ornate staircases rising up from the edges, each one of them equidistant from the others. The stairs and pillars were solid wood. I can't pronounce French. Nouveau? Yeah, sure, why not? Embellishments and decorations covered the walls and pillars. It looked like nothing so much as the entrance to a luxurious mansion from the early 1900s. Junpei couldn't help but wonder, was he really in a ship? The water quickly filled the hallway behind him and suggested that yes, he was. As he looked, a fresh wave rolled out of the room he'd been in, gathering speed as it moved down the stairs. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is totally what? Wait, what the hell? Yeah, a wave? Yeah, there's a wave. Close the fucking door. Shit, I gotta get out of here. Oh, Junpei. Junpei spun around, his wet shoes squeaking in protest on the polished floor, and ran towards the tremendous staircase in front of him. C deck. B deck. As he ran, he glanced quickly at the plates mounted on the wall, denoting the decks of the ship. He took to the stairs 2 at a time, not entirely sure where he would find himself. Just as he began to wonder where, in fact, the stairs did lead. Hey, people. Junpei saw another person out of the corner of his eye. He stopped short, nearly tripping over the next stair, and looked. It wasn't just one person he'd seen. On the landing on the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. The guy on the right, in the purple with the hair, just... What the fuck? Seriously. God, that guy's face. On the landing to the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. On the right side, 3 more. All told, there were 7 of them. It looked as though they had been on their way down the stairs. They'd stop a short way when they saw Junpei, their eyes wide. He'd done the same, of course, and now they'd stood there staring at one another. Junpei didn't move, one foot placed awkwardly on the next step, in the middle of a stride. Who were these people? This entire interaction lasted only a matter of seconds. The woman spoke to Junpei, and time began to move again. I guess there's another one of us now. I'm sorry, but the only voice I can do is Blanche from Streetcar Named Desire, so, yeah, deal with it. The woman was dressed, Junpei thought, rather like a dancer. Her clothes covered very little, and her prodigious jewelry little more. Hey, you, come on, hurry! With no further ceremony, she ran, straight past Junpei and towards the doors behind him. The sudden proximity of a woman with such striking assets left Junpei momentarily stunned. But the others wasted no time and quickly followed the strange woman. The first to pass Junpei was a young man with silver hair. He threw a quick glance at Junpei's direction as he ran, muttering, one of us, huh? Following him was an older man, his face calm and without fear. Soft wrinkles sprouted from his eyes, and he came close enough as he passed for Junpei to see wisps of gray in his hair. His composure and shock of hair struck Junpei as rather like that of an elderly lion. Going up won't do you any good. There are 2 doors, but neither of them will open. Next to speak was a girl with pink hair and a high voice.
Come on! Aren't you coming? You gotta hurry!
Her small hand was wrapped around the wrist of another man. His eyes were closed, almost as though he were sleeping. His features were graceful, almost serene. And he was dressed rather elegantly for someone his age. Something about his posture seemed very refined, and Junpei couldn't help feeling that he was noble and dignified somehow. He'd certainly never seen one, but this man certainly seemed like what Junpei had always imagined a prince would be like. That's 9 of us, then. All of the cards are in hand. What does all the cards are in a hand mean, he wondered. Junpei opened his mouth to ask what the other man meant, but the girl with the pink hair rushed past him and they were gone. He turned just in time to see 2 more people running towards him. One of them had a hair like a bird's nest. The other looked as though a stiff breeze might topple him. And the other man was a veritable mountain of a man. The scrawny one said nothing and scuttled past Junpei as though he were running from something. Hey, what the hell are you standing there for? Didn't you hear him? The doors on A deck are no good. We gotta check the doors on B deck. Got it? Now go! Before he had any chance to respond, the man laid a massive hand on Junpei's shoulder. With no more effort than Junpei would have used to brush aside a fly, the man shoved him out of the way. Whoa! Thrown off balance by the man in recent events, it took Junpei a few steps to get his bearings. He finally regained his balance and looked up at what the other 7 men had been running towards. There were 2 pairs of large iron doors set into the wall in front of him. They looked quite sturdy, and each had handles jutting from them. Written across the surface of each door in red paint was a number. The door on the right had 4. And the door on the left had 5. They're the same. The guy Junpei had decided to call Silver was mumbling to himself. The room I woke up in had a number on the door, just like that. You too, eh? With an arched eyebrow, the lion looked over at Silver. My cell was the same, a number upon the door. I opened it, ran down the hallway outside, and found myself in a rather grand room full of stairs, as, I suspect, did the rest of you. It was as though the floodgates had been opened. They all began to talk at once. Me too. I did too. Yeah, a door with a number on it. It soon became clear that each one of them had awoken in a room and a locked door, and solved a puzzle to escape. They'd all ended up in the same room, almost as though they'd been guided there.
Yes, we all saw the same thing. That's not important. We need to hurry.
You don't think I know that, lady? Before the dancer had time to finish, Silver was already running. He grabbed hold of the door labeled 5 and pulled. However, fuck it, it's not opening. This damn thing won't even budge. Move. You're in the way. The mountain grabbed Silver's shoulder and tossed him aside. His path cleared, he took a few steps back and threw himself at the door. Once. Twice. 3 times. I believe that's thrice. 4 times. Door shook as the body slammed into it, but showed no signs of breaking or opening. The mountain threw himself at the door again. Junpei turned towards door 4. Next to the door on the wall was excuse me, that was... Next to the door on the wall was a small box. It looked just like the one he'd seen in his room, next to that door. If it was the same, then this door was likely locked as well. Still, he had to check. Junpei grabbed the handle and threw all of his weight into it. Gah! Gah! It was locked as tight as the door next to it, as he suspected. Damn it! Junpei punched the door. It did not respond. Were these the only doors, he wondered? He'd barely finished with the thought when the C-deck plate he'd passed on his way up sprang, unbidden, to his mind. His body moved before he had time to think. Junpei turned and ran back towards the stairs. He scarcely had taken a step when, at the top of the stairs, next to an ornate cloak embedded on the wall, he saw a person. It was a girl. She looked to be the same age as Junpei. He froze, unable to look away from her face. He wasn't confounded by her beauty or something equally silly. No, there was another reason he couldn't take his eyes off the girl. Junpei had seen her somewhere before. He couldn't quite remember where, but he knew he'd met her before. The girl, too, stared at Junpei, similarly stunned. Her response suggested she'd seen him before as well. Excuse me. Ellipses indicating confusion. Ellipses response indicating confusion as well. Without saying a word, Junpei walked slowly towards her. She didn't move. It was almost as though she were held in place by some sort of magic spell. As Junpei stepped on her landing, the spell broke. No sooner had he set his foot down than the whole ship shook a second time.
Ah! The quake caught the girl unprepared,
and she fell. Moving on instinct, Junpei leapt to catch her. Or so he thought. Her face was far closer than it should have been, mere inches from his own. Ooh. He was flat on his back, and she had landed squarely on top of him. The girl seemed as confused as he did, and her face suggested she still hadn't fully recovered from seeing him. For a moment that seemed to stretch for a very long time, they stared at one another. The ship stopped shaking. Everything was quiet. Water could be heard from the bottom of the ship, lapping faintly at walls and ceilings, but eventually that faded as well. The silence was complete, a thick, muffling blanket. At last the girl opened her mouth.
Oh my gosh, is that you, Junpei?
Junpei. Junpei. Her words echoed through Junpei's head, and suddenly his memory returned. Akane? Why hadn't he realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki, and she and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years, but what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he'd thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face heating up. At that moment, a speaker cracked to life, and a cold, eerie voice entered the room. Welcome aboard. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart to this, my vessel. With the voice's invasion, the spell between Junpei and Akane was broken, and all hints of her burgeoning romance instantly forgotten. Good. Fuck love at first sight. It's unrealistic. They hurriedly untangled themselves from another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At last they found it. A speaker set in the ceiling. I am Zero, captain of the ship. I am also the person who invited you here. The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static, but Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it? It was the same voice he heard from the man in the gas mask. Hey, asshole! What the hell is this? Come on out here. I want to get a look at you. What do you mean to do to us? I mean to have you participate in a game. Some of you, I know, are familiar with this game, the No Nary game. It is a game where you put your life on the line. Trademark.
No nary game.
What the hell's that? The voice continued, implacable. The rules of the No Nary game can be found upon your persons. They are simple rules. Read them.
No nary game.
Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out. Silver reached into his pocket. Hold on a second, phone ringing.